Arlington all the time.
That's all I've got for reports. Are there any questions?
Questions?
Yes.
Member Jones?
Where is she going to?
Arlington?
Okay.
So she's giving up her,
I don't know all the details.
two cities will be
Two
short.
cities in this one.
She will back to, they have a public safety department in Arlington, so they have a police chief, fire chief, and the director called me today. I spoke with him, and he selected her for obvious reasons, but she will start there on July 1 as the executive assistant. So,
Will be next.
yes.
Well, it's unfortunate she left, because we've been to any police open house, bike rodeo, any event that's been put on by the police department in the last 6-7 years. Stephanie was instrumental in organizing and putting that together. She's really going to be nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's sweet. Okay, so is there any report from council members that is not related to a board or a committee? Councilmember Case.
I didn't get a chance to ask John any questions, but regards to the fireworks issue, because it's going to be drier this year, and the fire hazard and danger is going to be more, I'd like to see us do more than just confiscate. I'd like to see us physically enforce with infractions. I know we have it, and a lot of times we try to be nice, but this is the year that, this is the year why we have these rules in place. So,
And I agree, and John and I have had conversation, and he's going to have several officers on duty. We're going to have more than the normal patrolling and out paying attention, kind of know the targeted areas to go around the trouble areas from the past.
Down my street.
Yeah. and there is a high emphasis on safety, and I believe even Valley Regional Fire Authority is kind of keeping an eye out, and other agencies as well. They're working in conjunction together to make sure that we keep people safe and minimize any damage with it being so dry. So thank you for your concern. Okay, any other council comments not related to a board or committee? Okay, moving on, Finance Committee.
That last week, unfortunately, I missed the meeting because of the last-minute college preparation for my oldest son for his new quarter, and so I apologize for not making it after reminding everyone the night before.
That was mentioned at the meeting.
So I probably could have broke away if someone would have sent me a little reminder text or phone call, but I got so caught up, I lost track of time and realized that the next day at work that I missed the meeting the night before. So, but anyway, they did give me Richard gave me the minutes for the meeting, and I'll go over what was discussed. So there were several topics on the agenda. The first was Transportation Benefits District. There was discussion. I did touch base with Richard on Thursday and provided a little bit of input on my opinion, because I did read the agenda Tuesday morning, and but we did talk about, you'll probably see a proposal coming forward by staff with Finance Committee backing to create a Transportation Benefit District. Even if we're not going to worry about funding it necessarily right away, but it's got to be in place for 6 months before we can even utilize it. So we'll bring something together so that we can at least get it created, get it established and functioning as a governing entity. We've talked about options for getting money for streets, whether it's going a lid lift on our city bond levy or voted bonds. So that was discussed. And so, but before we do anything, we want to make sure we've got the listed priorities and Lance is working on, what work needs to be done within the city and where the priorities need to go. There was discussion about Little Angel Child Care, their conditional use permit and their building permit, or the lack thereof from the previous owner. So there's some issues there. Fees owed are approximately $12,000. committee talked to Richard and wanted to set up a payment plan to assist them the best way possible to get those paid. Pierce County Webstone, former water customers, there was some discussion about utility audits that was done in the area, and there was some apparently businesses that weren't being billed, and so there's request not to backbill them for mistakes that were made. So, and some talk about business and occupation tax audit to the city customers and how to handle that. So we'll probably get some more information on that in the future. And then the city council identified goals and objectives for the finance committee that came out of our annual retreats. So the committee wants staff to work on 5 goals and objectives identified by the council. So they include researching the viability of the levee lid lift, adding security cameras to City Hall, as far as what the cost would be, creating consortium-style services among small cities located around Pacific so that we can create cost savings, that we can do so. Some unfunded mandate compliance, identify them and the associated costs with them that we're forced to comply with. And then a 5-year budget forecast, so master plan. So, and the next committee meeting will be July 21st.
All right, next up, the governance committee.
Governance committee meets July 7th, and at that time, we're scheduled to have a phone conference with personnel, labor attorney Sophia Meady, and our discussion will be personnel policy, sick leave / shared leave, and so governance committee, have your questions ready.
I thought we were turning them in ahead of time, so you knew what questions were going to be.
At the last meeting, we discussed that, and members decided that they wanted to have a phone conference.
Okay. Do you remember our hourly rate?
I know. I know, that's right.
Okay. All right. Human Services Committee.
And that's me, and I just wanted, our meeting is tomorrow, our Human Services meeting, and I spoke briefly with Joanne today. Everything is in place for the pancake breakfast. It's the major fundraiser for our community services, and it's July 11th before the parade, so we need as many council members as possible to help contribute. And she's also looking for contributions from anybody. She needs pancake mix, the kind you just mix with water, no milk, just straight mix with water, peanut butter, individual butter pat, link sausage, orange juice, and hot chocolate, and she'd like, if possible, if anyone can donate before July 3rd so that they have an idea of what will need to be purchased. Okay.
Can you have her send an email with what she needs?
Yeah.
Are we going to be talking about a tomorrow night meeting?
Probably, but I wanted to get it out to the council, just the items that we need for donations.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Thank you for staying on top of that. I appreciate you guys stepping up with our keeping it up. Okay, Public Safety Committee.
We don't meet next week, we don't want to be meeting the end of, a day in June, July.
July?
Sorry. I don't, the date escapes me, do you know? I think
Put it on the calendar.
Vic had talked to me about it. Yeah, and
July 14th, okay.
we had decided that it does not need to meet every month, it's a quarterly meeting, is that correct?
But we're required to meet, it's one of the committees
Right.
that is required to meet, and it's required to meet at least once a quarter.
Quarterly. So if there's nothing on the agenda, then we won't meet, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. Are you meeting July 14th?
If we have something to meet about,
Okay,
if there's something on the agenda. I will talk to John a week prior to that,
okay.
and so.
So maybe at our workshop on July 6th, we can kind of get it out there if you're meeting or not, instead of the day before, so people can decide accordingly. Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, Public Works Committee.
We meet July 1st.
Technology committee.
Technology committee met on June 18th. We had a couple of things on our agenda. We discussed, and I think sent out some examples of the website. After doing further research on that company, several cities were not happy with the services they provided. Their stability, their uptime wasn't what they expected, as well as backups. They lost data, not adhering to public record retention policies. So the committee's looking at doing an RFP, which we should have at least a basic draft of for our next meeting, for the workshop. We're going to meet right before that meeting. The portable audio video system, we're kind of back to the drawing board. Leanne's excited about that. After working with the attorneys, there was some disagreement on prepayment, and the committee seemed willing to prepay a little bit, and the response from the owner was less than desirable. Talk to Richard if you're interested in the exact verbiage. It's very interesting. So we're going back to the drawing board on that with an RFP. We're looking at a couple other vendors. The two that we've talked to are twice as what we're going to pay with this company. So we've got a couple options, but we'll know more soon. There's also another option to add additional functionality to the website. It'll make Amy's job a lot easier. It's a company called Granicus. They're going to come do a demonstration or presentation for the committee that allows uploading of meeting minutes directly to the website, stored online. So we'll know more hopefully at our next workshop. Our next meeting is not the following one. We too discussed our council goals from the retreat, battery backup, the Wi-Fi network, cloud backup. So we actually have 2 meetings scheduled next month. So the July 6th meeting will be kind of discuss our RFPs. The July 16th meeting, we'll talk about some of these goals and objectives that staff's working for us, and then we're going to carry that over to August as well. And then kind of other topics, part of what came up in the discussion around cloud backup was security. There's been a lot of security violations, not in our city, but in the private sector lately. So the discussion around security came up. Richard mentioned that BIAS is done entirely in the cloud or stored in the cloud, so we're asking BIAS to provide kind of a white paper of what they use for security policies. Let us sleep at night. But, so in case the council is interested, we can provide that as well. So as I said, we mentioned we meet July 6th before our workshop here, and then we also meet on July 16th at 5 o'clock in the Marriott.
Okay, questions? All right, thank you. Park Board. Report from Park Board? Nope. Planning Commission, Jeff for their meeting tomorrow night. Pierce County Regional Council.
Just real briefly, the next meeting for the council is July 9th.
All righty then, thank you. So next item on the agenda